just leaving Melbourne on our way to the on my way to the airport to jump on HH52 to sail from Kota Kinabalu to Singapore. So very excited about that. Beautiful day in Melbourne that I'm leaving. And got my lovely son driving me to the airport.
Hello.
All right, we've made it to Kota Kinabalu, and I've got Stu, fellow crewmate, and we can see out there in the very far distance, I don't know where I'm pointing, the black mast. That's where we've got to get to. And then we get to see the first chance to see a HH52.
Thank you very much, mate.
Day one. We've just come across the fuel dock and about to fill up the tanks, all manoeuvring magnificently. Joe did a beautiful job of that. This is the life raft locker, and then you can see the door that opens underneath it, and then they've got the grab bag in here, EPIRB in here, and so on. It all goes down below here in the cockpit. This is my eye view, just sitting on the back beam. And this is actually pretty good. This is a pretty good height to be looking at and seeing. That's where I'm sitting on that bit. I don't know whether the audio will work well enough in this, but we're motoring along at 3,000 RPM at 8 knots. And the motor's under this bed that I'm standing right next to, and it's really not that loud. It's remarkably sensible. Like, I could easily sleep in here with that happening. This is the starboard bow sail locker or bow locker, and then we've got the Jenica, the reacher and the staysail in there, plus bags, plus heaps of room still to spare. And the bow thruster sits at the bottom of this locker, right underneath it all. Yeah, pretty good. And good the way it opens and closes, easy to use. I like that. Good display with the water maker. Like that, we can see how much water we're making, what's happening, and the sea zone there with good info too. Underwater lights in action. Yeah.
So
what a day. Look at the rainbow.
We've got
one of the friendly locals walking through where we're having lunch. Just been out for lunch. Now we walk back to the boat. Just there. Nice. Long way up the mast now. Pleased to see details like this, such as mouse lines pre-run. We're up the mast now, but that they pre-run in case you need to pull something else through later. That's good practice. Thank you. Yay! Stu's excited, we're going. We're moving. We're on our way to Singapore. Farewell, Kota Kinabalu. Bit of action going on over there. I'll show you what. And the less fun action here are packing up. So we've got our fishing setup here. Fishing line goes from reel onto the cleat. Then the fishing line's going forward and then back down to here, where it then goes out the back of the boat. And we're running 400-pound fishing line. And up here, where it does a U-turn, like that, we've got a piece of bungee, and the bungee runs up to the cleat, so that becomes the suspension on the system. And also attached onto here is a piece of cord that goes around the stay, and then goes all the way back and down to the bottom of the stairs. And we've got a can. It was difficult, I had to drink the beer first, so that we had an empty can that becomes the alarm, and then that way, when the fish strikes, so I got my hand on the fishing line, if I pull a line, like a strike, then it starts making a whole lot of noise as the can moves, and you know you got a fish. Simple. Yeah, we got a fish. Woohoo! Yeah. Nice little tuna. Except he's making a mess of my shirt. Bit of action happening at the moment. We're at sea. We're in a mega lightning storm. Stu's cooking up a sort of prawn curry. It's all hands on deck, it's all action. And you can't see very much out the windows, and that's the lightning storm we're going through. Just lightning everywhere. Driving through the oil rigs is pretty wild because they're flaring, which is burning off the excess gas, and you see the big flames coming up. It's kind of cool, kind of wild. This is what we came for. Who's happy about actually sailing rather than motoring? I know, look, everyone's actually smiling now. It's like, yay, we're sailing.
We're not going in the right direction, but we're going faster and we're sailing.
Yeah. Oh, look, details. Don't get caught up in the fact that we're going the wrong way.
You said you wanted.
Such tricky conditions. 1 minute it's blowing like stink and we're going down to a reefed rig, and then the next minute the wind peters out, and then we're underpowered. But at least we're sailing, and everyone was very happy about going under sail rather than diesel. Postcard boy, what do you think? This is the real sailing now. Stu at the helm and Captain Joe, what a legend! Serving beer to the skipper. That's the way to do it. That's the CAI view, which seems to false alarm regularly. We hit a log in the water while travelling last night. CAI didn't see it. The log got stuck against the daggerboard, which wasn't ideal. Ended up having to reverse back to get off it. We'll dive tomorrow and have a check, or if the weather calms down. It's night time, very dark. Got alarms going, which seems to be a common theme, and fridge alarms as well, bilge alarms. Stu's down there trying to check on the tech stuff as we're pounding into a sea with 2 engines running. Yeah, doing 4 knots, 4.5 knots. Up to 5, but that's less common. There's it, running 2 engines into 12 knots and a bit of chop. So this is an OC dinghy on the back of the boat that I'm on right now, and OC give little pads to go between the davit and the dinghy. The ones at the front have fallen out, and so then they've just had to hoist it up without that, and I can now see, I don't know if you can see, probably can't see, but it looks like it's hoisted too far and cracked the deck. Sashimi from yesterday's catch. What do you think, Steve? How did the sashimi rate?
5 stars.
It's pretty tasty. It's a bit damp. under sail now, and we've just got the regen going, and we're generating, that's amps at 48 volt, so 20 is about 1 kilowatt per side. So we're getting up to 2 kilowatts at that sort of speed. We were going quicker a moment ago, but pressure's coming in and out. This is power loads at the moment, so we're sailing at 9 knots. We've got the regen going, and DC loads we're not keeping up with. We're at 65 true wind angle. Reefing again. While the headsail's still powered, working pretty well. These are the Cyclops load cells on the cap shrouds, and they're displayed on the B&G screens, which was fantastic display, but they jump around quite a lot, which makes them a little bit hard to use. It'd be great if they could do like a 5-second average or something like that. So this is interesting now. It's not super sunny, it's sort of overcast. 10 in the morning, we're getting solar. We're getting nearly 20 amps at 48 volts, but on the regen we've been sitting up about 20, but we've been generating about 20 per side, so yeah, we're generating a fair bit at the moment. On our way into Kuching, running low on fuel to get to Singapore, and so we're doing a pit stop to get some fuel, but it's a long way up the river. Coming into Kuching. Lovely weather for it. What do you reckon, Stu? A bit warm?
Nice and cool.
It is. It's so hot. We're just happy to cool down by standing in the rain. Then we can sit here in our little shower spot. Ha! Our emergency fuel spot, and that's our best docking. Half a boat's dock worth. This pretty much sums up our trip. Just alarms going non-stop, and then trying to work out which alarms are going. I'm confident all the alarms will get sorted. Exactly, it's not a major concern. This is our fuel stop. We've come to the fuel dock, and the fuel dock is jerry cans that get delivered. Just random jerry cans. There's some more on the dock. There's more on the back of the boat. A little skinny hose. And I reckon by tomorrow we should have 350 litres in the tank, and we'll be set to go.
By 2 o'clock.
By 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we're going to head off to Singapore. This is load number 3 of filling up our, I'll try not to swear, fuel tanks. What do you reckon, Stu?
This is awesome.
The fuel polishing system was awesome, super helpful after the crap fuel that we bought. Best I've ever seen by far. We had a calm section after leaving Kuching and dived in to check the hull after hitting the log. Not a single mark, not a sign. It was very fortunate. We also were concerned about the bow thruster and checked it, and it turned out it was just the switch in the DC space that had been bumped. The pro race crew have switched from the Reacher to the Jenica. Of course the winds then died, but we got to play with another sail. Okay, so this is a brilliant feature of the HH that has been really missing in their marketing brochures, and that is the world's best pee off the side position. From inside, can't see them. You get a backrest to relax. You're secured completely while you're there. World's best pee off the side position, and hidden from inside. One engine at 3,300 RPM. 7.4 knots. We're now punching to a headwind with one engine going hard at 3,200 RPM. We're doing 3.3 knots and wind speed 28 knots on the nose. We're just about stopping that. We were doing in these same revs, we were doing up over 7 knots in the calm. So we've now gone to 3,000 RPM on both engines. We're doing 6.5 knots. And we're into the winds now dropped to 23 knots. Getting close to Singapore now. We're now in Singapore after about 1,000 miles of travel to get here. Been a pretty eventful trip, 2,500 miles on the boat now. And got in last night at 5 a.m. Couple of beers to celebrate, a little bit of sleep, and now into the marina to go and get berthed. But all went well. All cleaned up and in bed in Singapore. Farewell, hold on. This is the reward for sailing to Singapore. All we need now is a margarita and we're sorted. While I was aboard, hold on, I was also getting photos sent through of our tender, which is still, progressing in production. We're making new molds with some modifications and so forth in it, and it's coming together really well. It's going to be pretty amazing. I'm quite excited about that. Farewell, Joe and Terry. Safe travels. I should also mention that this boat was sailed straight out of the factory. So effectively it was handed over to Joe and Terry, and then they've headed off to sea straight after taking ownership of the boat, which I would think in any boat is quite a big move. The alarms that we were hearing, some of them were us learning the boat, and then others were things that HH should be able to rectify. Another point too is that when I arrived at the boat, I looked at all the high load areas in the hull, as well as going up the mast and inspecting the rig, and there were no signs at all of stress or cracks. Sometimes you'll see very fine hairline cracks in boats and so on, and there was none of that, which was excellent to see. There weren't even any real wear indications or anything like that, which was great.